Guys. Oh, my screen. Thank you. You are watching, eh? Yeah, we are here, Cisco certified support technicians. So it's the same as a CCNA, just a few concepts that we are going to add, right? And remember, we are done with 1.0 standard and concepts. And today we are going to do addressing and subnets format 2.0. That's going to be the task for this, for today and Monday. So I'm sure by Monday or Tuesday, we can be done with 2.0 and we can move to 3.0, right? So we are going to talk about 2.1, compare and contrast private addresses and public addresses. This is where I'm going to start. So we are going to see the difference between those two concepts. This one, a private and public, right? They want you to understand the difference between a private IP and what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I cannot type properly. Guys, a private IP, it's an IP address that you can use internally. Right? You can use this IP internally for yourself, right? Like in your company. Did you understand? You cannot use it when you want to be connected to the internet, right? You cannot use this IP address when you want to connect yourself or your company to the internet, right? This is what we call a private IP. I can try to draw something for you here. Suppose like there's some computers there, the computer 1, computer 2. This is your router here, right? And this is the internet. Suppose it's here, your internet here. Right? Let's say now you are using, like here, you are using a private IP. This is a private IP for the whole company. You are using a private IP. Right? Yeah, because we are using a private IP, what does it mean? It means that these guys, they cannot go to the internet. You cannot go to the internet, right? Those IPs, you're gonna use them just for those 2 computers, right? So when you wanna go to the internet, the router will tell you, my man, you are using a private IP. You are not allowed to be connected to the internet. This is the meaning. And remember, guys, like this private IP, you as an administrator, you as an engineer, you are going to choose it, right? By yourself. You just wake up in the morning, you pick up a network ID, and you start giving to your devices, right? So is it clear? A private IP cannot go to the internet. Sometimes we always say this. Ish, I'm struggling with the screen today. I don't know what's going on. Let me try to. Oh, it's here. It says it was very large. I don't know what's going on today. So private. So technically, you can say what? It's not what? Routable. Routable means that cannot go to the internet. This is the meaning of routable. Right? So technically, you can say like a private IP is not routable. Routable means cannot go to the internet, right? Now, there are some ranges of a private IP. I can just like pick up a picture first. That way will allow me. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. I can take a screenshot or I can just copy. I don't know if it will, okay. This is what I was looking at. Did you see the ranges of a private IP? When you go for class A, your network ID can be what? 10.0.0.z up to what? 10.255.255.255, right? Let me give you an exercise for class A. Now you will understand, maybe from here, you ought to understand what this guy is talking about. Okay. Let's say my network, like ID, right? You said, okay, so I'm going to pick up a private IP, but class A. My network ID may be like it's 10.0.0.z, right? Now, for PCs, maybe PC1, there I can say /maybe 8, right? So for PC1, you can give it what? 10.1.0.z? 0 maybe, right? For PC2, you can give it maybe 10.2.0.z? 0, right? So I'm following my network ID. Somebody else can say this. My network ID is this one. Maybe there, I can say it's 20, right? So for PC1, for this one, we can say maybe 20.0. Maybe 5.0. The only things we cannot touch, it's only the 20 here. So for PC2, maybe we can give it again 20.6. Maybe 2.z, right? Up to what? 10.255.255.250. This is the maximum. You can choose like any number, like between 10.0.0.0 up to 10.255.255.255. Right? So Jonathan, when you go for class A, like private IP, you must know the range. There's no need for the exam, you have to memorize, but not for work because you can get from the internet. But if you go for class B, your ranges will start from what? 172 192.1.16, right? So this is a private IP for what? For class B. When you go for class C, private IP to what? 192.168.0.0 up to 192.168.255.255. So you can pick up something between those two, the minimum and the maximum, right? Those are the types of like private IP. You're gonna get some 3 to 4 questions. They will ask you, which one among those IP addresses fall under like private IP class C? Sometimes they won't gonna tell you the class. Yourself, you're gonna watch. This IP is 10.c. This is private, but it's class A. 172.16. This is also the private, but for class B. When you see 192.168, this is class C, but it's a private IP. There are questions on this one. When you are reading, make sure that you go to, you repeat again. You know how to pick up like a private IP for class A, for class B, and class C. You have just to observe the numbers, right? So this is what we call a private IP. Now we're gonna talk about this public, right? Remember, guys, a public can be connected to the internet. This is what you have to understand. When we are talking about a public IP, this is an IP address that you can use in order to be connected to the internet, right? And you're gonna get it from where? From the provider. Your internet service provider. Right? Public address will be given by your internet service provider, right? This is the IP address that you're gonna use in order to be connected to the internet. Like now you got your phone. When you activate your bundle or your data, right? You wanna be connected to the internet. Your Cell C, your MTN needs to provide what? An IP address for you that will allow you to be connected to the internet. When you wanna connect your company to the internet, you're gonna bring a modem. That modem will require an IP address. That IP address will come from where? From the provider, right? You cannot come up with your own IP and you say that I'm gonna use my IP to be connected to the internet. When you wanna do like your company like this one, you're gonna assign your devices like your private IPs. But when you wanna connect the whole infrastructure, you wanna connect it to the internet, you will require a public. Public IP is routable. Like technically, is routable. Routable means you can use it to be connected to the internet, right? You understand, guys? Now, you have to understand this. You got your private IPs for your company. You want a public for internet, right? You need a mechanism, right, that will convert your private IP to a public in order to be connected to the internet, right? Because you're going to ask yourself a question like, okay, I have my company. We are running private IPs. How now we're going to be connected to the internet? Because the service provider will only give you what? One IP. How thousands of IPs, millions of your devices will be using that one IP in order to be connected to the internet, right? Let me draw maybe something in order for you to understand better. Suppose like I have those 3 computers here. There are 3 here. Those 3 computers, they are connected to your router here, right? Now you wanna be connected to the internet, right? You can bring your modem here. Let's say this is your modem. Sometimes your router can have like a modem incorporated, right? And here, this is your internet service provider. It's ISP. This is your ISP here, right? Now, from here, you are running what? Private IP, right? Maybe here it's 192.168.0.2. This one maybe it's .3. This one maybe it's .4. So 192.168.0.3, right? Now, you know that those are what? Like private, right? They are not allowed to go to the internet, right? Now, your service provider will give you an IP address, right? Maybe that IP, it may be, oh, I can use another color. I don't want it to be mixed with this one. Maybe 200.1.1.1, right? This is a public. Oh, a public that will be given by your internet service provider, right? You understand? Now, you have to convert. So when these guys, they want to go to the internet, those IPs must be replaced by what? By this one, right? So you want to go to Facebook, but you are using a private, right? You are not allowed to access Facebook, right? Your IP will be replaced by what? By a public. Now your request will do what? Your request will go. So from the router, you need a mechanism that will start replacing like a private to a public. That process, we call it NAT. This is what we call network address translation, right? So network address translation will do what? Will replace your private to a public. Finished. This is the job of a network address translation, replacing your private IP to a public, right? There is a question on this one. So NAT does what? Oh, let me write it. This is called network address translation, right? Will replace your private IP to the public. Right? So every time you wanna connect to the internet, your request will go where? To the wireless access point. Now the wireless access point will say what? Hey, my man, you are using a private IP, you are not allowed to go to the internet. So I will block your request. Now, what your wireless access point will do, your wireless access point will check what? The network address translation. So the network address translation will say, okay, your private, so I'm going to replace it to the public, and that public now can go to facebook.com, right? But if you don't configure the network address translation like properly, nothing will happen. You must go to your router. You configure what we call network address translation. So you're going to map your private IP to a public, yes? Huh? Oh, replace, okay, thank you. You understand, guys? So this is the job of a network address translation. Replacing like your private to a public. Like here, maybe you're gonna connect 1,000 computers. You're gonna come, you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna use like a class B address. By yourself, you're gonna choose those IPs. You give to your devices, like all of them. Now you say, okay, so I want to connect my devices to the internet. You go to your provider. Your provider will say, okay, this is your router. This is your IP address for you to connect to the internet. But they're gonna just give you what? One IP. But you have what? Thousands of devices. How are you gonna do that? You must use what we call network address translation. This one will allow you to convert all those IPs you are using like internally will be converted to that's public. Every time, every computer wanna connect to the internet, the IP of that computer will be changed to a public, and the request can go to the internet, right? So this is the full job of a network address translation. So when you don't know it, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna have one modem, and you're gonna ask yourself, how come this modem will connect all those computers? You will remember that no, there is what we call a network address translation that will allow me to map those private IPs to the public one, right? Yes, yeah.
Is it possible to, if maybe let's say that you can even an IP address by then you create a address through a DHCP?
Yeah, this is what you're gonna do. The same things, same concept, right? Now the reason, let's see now why we have to use a network address translation. Why? Hey, my friend, are you talking about studies or you are talking about your own thing? So there is, what the question is why? Why we have to replace millions of IPs just by using one, right? Because the IP addresses are limited. We don't want to waste them, right? IP addresses or private IP, right? Addresses are what? Limited, right? Private IPs or IP addresses are limited, right? You cannot allow like every devices from your network to be connected to the internet using its own IP, right? The IPs will finish fast, right? Suppose like your camera is connected to the internet using its own IP. Your phones, your smart watch, your glasses, like everything is connected to the internet. Those IPs will be finishing. That's why this guy said, okay, let's come up with a mechanism that can transform, that can replace thousands of IPs by just one. And we call it network address translation, right? We don't want to waste the IPs. We cannot allow to every company to allow like every device to have its own IP for the internet. That's going to be a big issue, right? Those IPs will finish in 1 second. So that's why they came up with this network address translation. You can even see it here when you go to your documents, like here. This is what we call NAT concept, network address translation concept, right? Shortly, you have just to understand this. Like a private IP cannot be used to be connected to the internet. What must I do now for me to be connected to the internet? I will need a public IP, right? But even if I will require this public IP, that IP address will be given like to me by my provider, but that IP address can only be one. But myself, I will have 1,000, 1 million. What must I do now? I need a mechanism that will allow me to do the replacement. Right? Do you understand? They will ask you this question. They will give you a scenario. And from that scenario, you have to understand it properly. Maybe they're just telling you that one of the guy or one of the specialists doesn't want to lose the IP addresses or wasting the IP addresses. Which mechanism is going to use? Or which mechanism will be best suited for this case? You have to remember about the network address translation, the mechanism that runs like on your modem or your router that will have a modem incorporated, right? Any question before us moving to address classes? So everybody now understood the meaning of private IP that cannot go to the internet, and you know how to check for the ranges. You're gonna be like able when a question will come, you will know how to identify a public and a private, right? Remember, like a public, you're gonna get it from the provider. The private, you're gonna come up with it by yourself by checking your ranges. For class A, from 10.0.0.0 up to 10.255.255.255, and class B from 172.16.0.0 up to 172.16.255.255, and class B 192.168, and so on, right? Now we're going to talk about classes, right? We are going to talk about classes, right? As I said, guys, remember, we are receiving so many requests for the guys who want to study at home. You want to study at home because I know you are lying, it's fine. Study at home, but remember, you're already out. Nobody will take his time to allow you to write an international examination because you're just wasting our time, right? You're gonna get your local, it's fine, and we are going to get separated from there. If you don't have a higher vision for yourself, for your own future, it's your own problems. Some people, they left 10,000 miles of kilometers, leaving the jobs. You know, myself, I was a teacher in high school. So I was teaching per day, 3 schools. Yeah. So this school can give me 3 hours from 8 to 10. From 10 like to 12, like I have another contract for another school. From 12 to 2, right? But the days I realized like that money was not enough like for me. So I have to study more. I decided to quit and to travel, sleeping outside, keeping the clubs for me to know what I'm doing like today. If some people don't wanna sacrifice it themselves because they wanna get money now, they are greedy. You're gonna still be poor forever. You're gonna still getting less than 10,000 forever. But if you want to change it once, you have to accept to be broke for now And one day you're gonna sort out your life also forever. So I won't gonna repeat myself, but these guys, I won't gonna start like checking on them. You make your own agreement with some people to study at home. It's fine, but nobody will make a follow-up on you, right? So we're gonna talk about the address classes, right? So when you have an IP address, you have to understand that we do have different categories or classes. And those classes, there are 5. For the exam, what they want you only to know, they want you to know how to identify those 5 classes. Only. We have class A, we have B, so we have B, we have C, we have D, and we have E, all right? Those 2, we are not using them. Those 2, they are reserved IP addresses, right? For experimentations and so, right? We don't use them. This class A, this is for bigger companies, for government, right? So when your government wants an IP address, your government can go for class A. Why class A? Because we can find so many IPs, so many networks there, right? So many IPs, few networks, but more IP addresses. They can cover their employees, right? But you must know the ranges, right? What is the range of a class A, right? Most of the time, the first number will be between 1 and 127, right? Like this IP, maybe it's 20.0.0.0, right? This one, it's a class A. Why? Because this 20, this number 20 is between what? Yeah. So who came here? It's Hash or that other guy with glasses? Hmm?
The one with the cat. Yeah, the one with the cat.
Yeah. Right? So this is how you have to pick up, and you have to know the default. Okay, let me first activate. Yes, the guy denied. So he said he doesn't know about what your students said about it. So he said he never came here.
Now he's calling me a liar.
I don't know, but
She's not a liar.
it says, yeah, you must respond like on WhatsApp group said, that guy is calling me like a liar. The guy came and told us, yeah, because they are denying they said you lied. If he said so, you must say it like in WhatsApp group. Don't even, guys, hey, please, don't even ask.
I'm gonna ask them now.
If the guy said, you just respond on WhatsApp group, finished. Yeah, just say it on WhatsApp group that this guy using this cap like came in our venue and said this, finished. This is probably not your problem. Let's sort out your problem. You just say what they told you, finished.
This guy's a scam.
WhatsApp group for students, for everybody. You said it because Kez is talking about it. He said you lied. That's why you must respond on WhatsApp group. Something that is simple, my friend. Say what the guy told you. Say what the guy told you, students, like on WhatsApp group. Just no. No, because Kez is saying the student they lied. You said, like on WhatsApp group, like Kez, the guy came here. The guy came and told us here. He told us this. That's why we told sir that they're gonna be closed by 11. Finished. I thought Kez we are closing by 11 because they told the student they're gonna close by 11. Now we said no, your students are lying. Who told them? Because I called them, they are saying no, we never got. Nobody went there. Yeah. Just respond to the way the guy came and what he said. He won't gonna accept. We don't wanna go there. You just say that the guy came and told us this. Finished. Just say, yeah, just say the guy came and said this. We don't lie about him. This is what he said. No, they leave as one. Saba Jobek. Yeah, that's one. Because now they want to sit. They are saying like students, they don't want to study, they are lying, they want to. I said, no, they told them. They told them, I'm sure. No. Let's just say, no, just say the way that guy was, the guy was dressed. Finished. Just say, the guy came, he was dressed like this, he told us this, finished. Themselves, they're gonna go and phone, and Jonathan will confirm his name from the picture there. They said, oh, students, they are not saying one student, they said students don't want to study. This is what I'm saying. For cutting this story, just confirm on WhatsApp group like this guy came and said this. Finished. Say even no, you can even say this guy was dressing like this. Finished. There is no rescuing one person. They are talking about the whole students. There is no one person. They are talking about you students don't want to study. You want it to go home by force. They don't call her, they are calling the whole class. Yeah. Ish. These guys, I don't know what's happened with them. Guys, don't talk. I told you to respond, you don't want to respond. So why are you talking now? Huh? The same things you've done when the meeting was here. You are talking a lot when they're confronting you, you don't want to talk. So don't waste just my time, please.
Just say 2 students that they.
No, Jonathan, don't go there. The place for you to say was WhatsApp group, not by confronting him. The people who are shouting, they are on WhatsApp group. It's not him. Right. Asive, the problem is not on his side. The problem is, huh? Do you think you're gonna call him? You won't gonna call him. You're gonna go there, gonna lie to you. Okay, guys, I have even had to take a break because you disturbed my whole lesson. Because you guys, you are coward. You like to behave like you are strong people. You know how to claim you are not. Don't even talk about it. You can only talk like inside your house. When you're outside, you don't know how to talk. Yeah, because you cannot defend yourself.
That's what we're trying to do right now.
No. I told you what you must do. You're afraid.